speaking of the road to hell, yeah, our friend Colin Thompson over there, he's the major domo over there at Kast Media. Well, he's got a new front man now, like Roy Welch used to put in the new territories he'd open up. But nevertheless, we've given some updates on him, and you can find the deposition videos where he looks so uncomfortable on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube channel. Just go to that, and you'll see a bunch of deposition videos. But he's obviously he's back in the game. He's got a plan. He's going to reorganize himself. He wants to get back heavy into the podcast business, and so we have been mentioning the press release he put out where he said he wants to be a beacon of transparency and truth and try to avoid the mistakes he's made in the future. And so in the interest of that transparency, something you can see practically through like it ain't even there, and part of this little bankruptcy deal that we've been involved in with him, not part of the other little lawsuit that we're involved in with him, but he has to supply is it monthly, Brian? Is this the period of time we're talking about, a monthly report?
Every month.
Every month he's got to supply a report on how much came in and how much went out and how things are going. And maybe this might be, if you're looking to get in business with Colin Thompson or invest in his, maybe hopefully he can make a ton of money here and pay back the $6 million he owes people, us amongst us being two of them, of those millions of dollars. I hope he just tears it up. But, maybe if you're thinking about doing business with him, you can listen to this and we'll keep you updated every month or so on how he's doing. And Brian, you know how to read these documents better than I do, but did I give a halfway decent summation of what we're talking about here?
You did. I guess just a couple things before we get going with this, and this is, again, public record. So it's not like we're exposing anything that anyone can access. We just have inside information and could talk about it. I think a couple important things to note. One, we mentioned previously that it wasn't known to the public that he was working with a company called James Media. He told the bankruptcy court that Kast Media was an operations consultant running the operations of this company, as well as getting ad sales money, and we've seen the details. We have the contracts. And
yes, and let me just jump in. That was another fun thing about this whole long, grueling bankruptcy process that made Colin take his jacket off so many times, was that we were able to find out that there was not just a level of incompetence, which there was, but there was also a level of things that we could take action on. And we got that information during the course of toward the end of some of it came in of this proceeding.
That's right. That's right. We found out that we thought things may have happened, and it turns out it did happen. And it turns out it was a specific person. It wasn't just Kast Media did something. No, it was a specific person. And thankfully, this is one of those areas the state of California actually has something where people like Jim and myself, and actually other podcasters, there are other people who invested money, I mean, anyone really, can bring action against the actual individuals who committed the fraud, did the deed, doing the thing, whatever you want to say.
Stepped out the back, Jack.
I brought up the James Media thing. He's now listed on their website as the chief operating officer. Colin at jamesmedia.club.
Is James Media still representing like Frank Sinatra and Queen Elizabeth and major names?
According to this website here, we got Pod Save America, we got Call Her Daddy, we got Club Random with Bill Maher, Joe Rogan Show, the Trevor Noah What Now Show, the Adam Carolla Show, Jordan Harbinger, whatever this guy's name is, Lady Gang, Theo Vaughn, Sarah Silverman, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jim Rome.
What percentage of those people know that they're on the James Media website? Have we got that information yet?
What percentage of those people have ever heard of James Media? But we'll get to that. Again, there's going to be a lot more in the future, but let's get back to Kast Media, and let's get back to the monthly report. And, I hate to steal a line from you, but I'm going to, and I hate to say I told you so.
Uh-oh.
Like we told the judge, The plan he confirmed is dead on arrival, in our estimation. Sure enough, Kast Media for the month of May, the month that just passed, May 2025, as soon as the plan got confirmed, lost $25,572 for the month.
Oh!
Now let's break this down. Have some fun.
Break it down!
And there may be some other issues with some of the things that are checked here, but we'll get to that, or the lawyers will. The opening balance on all Kast Media accounts for May had $108,228.50. So that's what they started with. Total cash receipts, how much they received during the month, $34,711.30. Total cash disbursements, the money going out, $60,283.50. The net cash flow is negative $25,572.20, leaving cash on hand at the end of the month of $82,656.30.
Well, now, just cousin Brian, that just don't add up. And now, but here's the thing. If he's not giving anybody that he owes the money from the $6 million from beforehand, he's not giving him any money. Well, then where's all that $60,000 going? What does he do with that?
Well, let's get that information here. And of course, none of this includes the filings that were just made, I believe. None of this is in here. The filings that were just made to the court by his bankruptcy attorney and the trustee asking for their money.
Oh, he hadn't paid the lawyer?
Well, he's been paying installments, and we'll talk about this.
He's been paying lawyers for a long time, but I mean, apparently not. They're needing to ask for their money.
But it's just more money coming out of the general pot that was sold to gullible creditors as you're going to get something. You're going to get nothing. Let's go back to this. How much have you paid in the last month in professional fees related to the bankruptcy case? $20,000, and that all went to, we believe, his lawyer Leslie Cohn in Santa Monica.
Fine city, Santa Monica.
How much has been paid in professional fees related to the bankruptcy since the case was filed? Up to this point, he had paid $134,148.27. He claims that they have unpaid bills of $28,132.28. However, money owed to him, to Kast Media, $88,279.88. If we go down here to the breakdown, here's the money that came in from subscription sales via Apple for people that subscribe to whatever fucking awful content, in my estimation, he's trying to get people to pay for. And if you don't believe me, go read the reviews of every one of his shows. People think it's AI. People don't even think it's real people anymore. That's how bad the quality is. But anyway, subscription sales through Apple, $3,637.58. SoundStack, advertising sales. This would probably be programmatic sales. $753.11.
You know, there's people that stand in front of stores with those sandwich board signs that make more money in the course of a week than he got in a month from his. All right.
Microdose, which I believe would be a sponsor.
He needed to do that during the deposition.
Well, they are a sponsor apparently of his programs, and they paid $2,625 in the month of May. Here's one payment from James Media for advertising sales, $25,481.96.
So the attention-getting sum of money that I've heard so far has something to do with these James Media folks.
Yeah, James Media, which all of a sudden popped up as a company in the summer of last year. And then we believe Colin testified that he was out in California meeting with them right after that. And Kast Media, although Colin Thompson is now listed as their chief operating officer, Isn't that the guy you want running your operations, especially your books? Colin Thompson secured a deal with them, he says, for Kast Media, but now his name is listed there. But they paid him that. Podcast One, advertising sales, $103.77. Now, to be fair, there's a little more from them. Advertising sales from James Media, $1,976.48. And one more time from Podcast One, $133.40.
Boy, that Podcast One relationship has really paid off for him with a gold mine.
Yeah, and again, he says here he's expecting a lot of money, and I believe it has here from Podcast
He's
One.
expecting a lot of money. You know what? Yeah. A lot of people expect a lot of things, but as Mama Cornette used to say, and I paraphrase, expect in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first.
Yeah, Podcast One, apparently, according to this, owes him $23,444 over 91 days. Negative $737.37 between 61 and 90 days. $8,000 between 31 and 60 days. Another $9,000 between 1 and 30. And it says here current is $12,000.
Well,
sounds like Podcast One.
Finder fee type of things and stuff like that pile up.
Yeah, or maybe the shows just don't have an audience and aren't generating the income. But let's go here to what he spent money on. What Kast Media spent money on. Fiduciary maintenance, $25.
Was that wait a minute, that was an overdraft fee.
Well, that's what that was from East West Bank. Colin Thompson for reimbursements.
His East West Bank went south. I'm sorry. I'll be at 2 shows on Friday.
For reimbursements, the contractor, Colin Thompson, received $712.61. A freelancer, the production cost for Sarah McLaughlin, 2 times in a row, $1,300. Abby Newhouse, another freelancer for production, $1,800. Colin Thompson, contractor, CEO, for April 13th through April 26th, $6,923.08. And I think that's an important thing to note. Contractor. He's no longer an employee of the company he owns and is the chief creative officer, I believe, of. He's a contractor.
Wait a minute, this is some kind of fucking AEW EVP kind of shit. He's working for himself. Well, like that old country song, I'm my own grandpa.
Leslie Cohn Law, legal services, $20,000.
Ouch. He's on a payment plan, I would imagine.
Google Office expense software and apps, $789.60. There's someone named Connor M. Powell, a freelancer for production. He received $27.50, and then this next one is in italics, so I'm not sure exactly what that signifies here. $2,888.38. Colin Thompson, reimbursement as a contractor, $216.97, and then again, second time this month, $6,923.08 for being the CEO from April 27th through May 10th.
So he's paying himself about $3,000 a month of running a company that's going in the hole and is just trying to come out of bankruptcy.
No, he's paying himself a lot more than $3,000 a month. That's
I mean, you know, just in those. No, did I say a month? I mean a week. $3,000 a week.
Yeah.
In those $6,000 payments.
Office expense, software and apps, $65. East West Bank, an analysis of the activity, $116.80.
Yeah, even it cost us a lot more for the people that analyzed his activity, but they did a better job of it.
Jared Einson, a consulting content development person, $3,500. So it looks like he's trying to develop some new shows. QuickBooks for software and apps, $235. Colin Thompson reimbursements, $1,122.91. Again, he has a company card, doesn't pay rent, lives with his father-in-law, doesn't pay anything on the car that he already took for himself from the company. Why? Just what are the reimbursements? But anyway, that's it for another time. And then finally, for Colin at least, contractor CEO, May 11th through May 24th, $6,923. So he paid himself now 3 times within the month.
Jesus Christ. I thought, wait a minute. How could you get 3 2-week periods out of the same month? Has he changed the calendar?
He's the master of funny math. Maybe we'll have to ask him that question. Abby Newhouse, a freelancer for production, $1,200. And finally, Connor Powell, freelancer production, $1,493.99.
Well, it doesn't sound like there's anything free about them either.
You know whose name wasn't there? The new CEO. That's interesting.
Wonder if it's an honorary title.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because the next month will be the first month that it would have to be reflected there that what is listed here as contractor to be CEO, that should no longer be what Colin's job would be. So that would be there for Colin, and then we should see the CEO's name and how much he's making. Because that's what they needed, was another expense on the books. Was another person to pay on the books. That's a CEO, an executive too. So by the way, if this guy's an executive and he's getting paid like $500 a month or something, you can be like, this guy's a jerk off. If he's getting $2,000 a month, you're going to say, this guy's a jerk off. He's a CEO of a media company that's trying to pretend that they're bigger than they are. But that's the main points of the monthly report. Again, what's there and what isn't there is important. And the month before, when he had to impress upon the judge that they could meet the requirements to get their plan confirmed, all of a sudden there was a whole bunch of payments coming in, including $10,000 from his lawyer, Sackler Entertainment, for content development or whatever he said he was doing. All of a sudden that was there that month. Who knows? We'll find out more. And again, it's important to note we are suing Colin Thompson and his co-conspirators and Podcast One and Live One for everything that they did to us. And we're not going to stop until. So let's keep playing.
Don't stop till you get enough. Ow! Dun, 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 dun.